it.
What are we drinking today?
We are drinking 2XO. It is their American Oak Bourbon.
All right. And did you want me to pour while you
Yeah,
give a little
absolutely.
background?
Yep.
All right.
I've got some background for us.
Okay.
So yeah, we're drinking the 2XO, which stands for 2 times oak. It's made by Dixon Deadman, and it's produced and bottled by Prestige Beverage Group. Every time I say or hear Prestige, I cannot help but think of Prestige Worldwide.
You said that earlier.
Do you not
explain it?
know? Oh,
I
this
think I'm
makes
missing
sense.
something.
Yeah, it's from Step Brothers. This is exactly why you wouldn't know.
Of course it is.
I just can't get over the fact that you hate that movie. But anyway,
Get over it.
we read, like, I was reading Prestige Beverage Group, and Beverage Group was just worldwide. Didn't even read Beverage Group. But anyway,
I know you said it earlier just randomly, and I'm like, what the fuck is he
I know,
saying?
because after looking at all this history, Prestige Worldwide is just stuck in my head.
All right.
I'm gonna make you watch where this comes up.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna just make me watch one part of Step Brothers.
Yes, so that you get it.
I can probably do that.
You can do that. That way you understand. Okay.
All right.
But anyway, Prestige Beverage Group is a major wine and spirits distributor, but they also help with bottling and labeling needs, and they are in Louisville, Kentucky.
Real quick, I hate to interrupt you, but the game will start in a little bit here, and we have a game question here.
Oh, let's answer that. That's important.
Trevor is wondering Hill or Puka. That's tough to decide between, but go ahead.
Puka.
I was also going to say Puka because Hill has that torn ligament in his wrist, allegedly. Do
you know which wrist it is? I guess I don't know if
I don't.
But I mean, catching a ball though, that's going to impact him.
So if that gets to be too much to manage, because they said he's going to try to play through it, but what if he can't? You know, what if the first hit he's out? I think that's too much to risk. So I'm going Puka. All right, sorry.
Wait. We had one more comment that is relevant.
Oh, okay.
Boats, and it's supposed to be boats and hose. Do you know boats and hose?
Yeah, vaguely.
Oh my god, we're gonna watch the whole movie, not just you have been.
I better have a lot of whiskey.
But I mean, Boats and Hose has a lot to do with Prestige Worldwide.
Okay, sounds good. While we're here, let's answer Elias's question. I have Neighbors and CD as both wide receiver 1 and 2, but they've been way too inconsistent lately. Would you guys trade CD and Gibbs for Achane and Garrett Wilson or Cup?
Okay, let's see.
I don't know if I like getting rid of Gibbs.
I know that's the hard one for me.
But Achane has been pretty solid lately.
I would
also go Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Just because Aaron Rodgers sucks. I mean, he does. Everybody's so surprised. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he's doing poorly. They've only won 3 games. Yeah. If you listen to this podcast, you would have known that he's old. He sucks. He couldn't make it back. He's going to have big games. Wilson will have big games. I just think you're going to get more consistency out of it.
If you want the consistent production, like, because this is why you're doing the trade, you know, because Neighbors and CD have been too inconsistent for you, I would go with Cup. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate that trade. I think it gives you a good upgrade, for sure. Would you? I'm thinking CD, I guess, is going to be affected. Anyways, he was this first week. Now we saw in the previous years, his production didn't dip that much in fantasy football. So I was almost going to say do Neighbors instead of CD, but Neighbors has just been such a target machine. I can understand that you don't know if you can trust Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, whoever's going to be throwing the ball for him. So, and Trevor's saying a little nervous because of Jalen Ramsey going to be on Puka. Jalen Ramsey has not been as good recently, I've noticed. I think he's trending down, so I'm still confident.
Hopefully he continues that trend.
Yeah, I hope he does.
We're going to go that he's going down.
Yeah. All right. Giants fan rocking with Neighbors till the end. Okay, I don't blame you then. And he's had a huge target share anyways. So even when Daniel Jones has not looked great, Neighbors is getting a good target share.
Yes.
Feel free to throw more questions in the chat. We'll answer them after our whiskey history here.
Unless we see a game time one. Yeah. So get your game time questions or tonight's game questions in before game time.
Yeah.
So we can get those answered for you. But to go back to our 2XO American Oak Bourbon, We just got done talking about how it's produced and bottled by Prestige Beverage Group, which led to
Worldwide.
Justin having homework that he must watch Step Brothers with me, and he's going to love it this time. You didn't. When was the last time you didn't like it when you're in your 20s? Maybe when you're in your 30s, you'll like it now.
Yeah, maybe my brain got dumber and I'll enjoy it. You're right. As a drunk college kid, you didn't like it, but maybe now as an adult. I'll give it a try again.
Are you saying I'm dumb?
No, I'm just saying you have poor taste in humor. No, I'm just kidding. I know a lot of people love that movie. I get it.
Yes, and you're just, I don't know. You have a sense of humor, so I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
They just don't.
Anyway, Prestige Beverage Group, located in Louisville, Kentucky. And then Dixon Deadman is a well-known whiskey blender and distiller known for his Kentucky Owl bourbon. Kentucky Owl was made by his great-grandfather up until Prohibition. Deadman bought it, he brought it. I don't know if he bought it, but he brought it back to life in 2014.
Nice.
And then Kentucky Owl was then purchased by the Stoli Group in 2017, and Deadman decided to move on in 2021. However, that was not the end of his blending career, as he then created 2XO. We couldn't find anything anywhere that states whether they distill this whiskey, so I'm guessing they do not, and that they just blend.
Yeah.
Which we do see, like, surprisingly, there are a lot of, whiskey brands out there that they're blends.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just a different way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. But Dixon Deadman was the pioneer, I guess you could say, of creating additional oak exposure to whiskey after its time in the barrel. And the additional interaction takes more flavor and character from the oak and, kind of as it's, finished in a different barrel. So we are trying the American oak today. What?
Just interesting because, we've seen several that they have that secondary finishing. So it's interesting that he was kind of the first one to do that.
Yeah. We're trying, and we're going to do a little profile here on the American oak today, which is the first blend in their oak series. Dixon does an additional finishing in charred oak barrels with a moderate amount of rye in the mash bill to create a unique flavor. Anytime I hear like a moderate amount of rye or a higher rye, I get excited about it.
Yeah, you love the high rye.
I do. And then their French oak is the second blend in the oak series, which I had the choice between American oak and French oak, and I wasn't sure which one for sure you wanted to try first out of the two.
Yeah.
But I grabbed the American oak, obviously. But their French oak, that's pretty easy to figure out. He inserts chains of charred French oak into the barrels with, again, a moderate rye bourbon mash bill. And they also have
sorry, just to interrupt you. I wonder if they're different mash bills for those.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
They also have a limited release icon series called Sneakerhead, which is a blend of small batches. Dixon is big into sneakers.
Yeah.
And hence the name. I might have told Justin earlier that he's into big sneakers.
You did say that. I was like, what?
He's into big sneakers.
Like he buys Shaq shoes or something? What do you mean?
He goes around and he
finds people with size 23.
But they also have the Gem of Kentucky, which is the only double-barreled, single-barrel Kentucky straight bourbon on the market, with, again, a high rye mash bill. It's 35% rye after aging in barrels, and they spend an additional year in new charred oak barrels before bottling.
All right.
So what did you get on the nose?
You smell and think about that. I'm going to answer a question about tonight real quick. Would you all start Tua or Stafford? I have HN. My opponent has Puka. I'm down 17 points. That's tough. I think Tua is going to throw the ball more consistently because of the Rams' defense is not as great against the pass. Dolphins' defense decent against the pass, but
I do think
with what you think? What?
Go ahead. I think Puka's gonna have a good game, so Stafford's gonna be the.
Yeah, I kind of like starting Stafford because your opponent has Puka, because then when Puka's scoring, you're at least getting something, right? You're getting if he scores a touchdown, you get a passing touchdown. If he gets yards, you're getting yards. So I kind of like countering that with or with Stafford.
You're just not getting obviously you're not getting quite the exact points for points there, but then you're also going to get. I mean, Puka's not going to be his only target, so you're going to get the points from Stafford going to Cup or
And Nick Fortune will.
I don't mind that because that kind of is like a little safety net.
Yeah.
In case Tua tanks for whatever reason.
Well, and if Hill ends up aggravating his wrist injury, then he obviously doesn't have his top option, so that could make it for a worse game. So, yeah, I think I would go Stafford. Nick will answer your question after the review here since it's not related to tonight's game. I like the question. So, I mean, obviously the first thing that jumps out at me is oak, which is
is very, very oak forward.
Yeah, with double oak. Drew will get you in 1 second here. It's very oak forward. And all right, we'll answer you now.
He's begging. And it is a tonight's game question.
Down 20, have Tua and either Tyreek or Puka. My opponent has Cup. Who do I start? You start Puka. I think we had one other person ask this too.
Tyreek makes me nervous because of that wrist injury that he mentioned, and that's gonna. I mean, if he really does have that injury, it's gonna affect catching the ball, and he might aggravate it enough to where he can't really play.
Yeah,
depending on how
concern.
The game goes.
If you have a torn ligament in your wrist, you're going to be in pain.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty obvious. So one wrong hit, or
that's
even
what I'm thinking.
I'm
thinking he gets hit. If he has the ball and he gets hit or something, and he lands wrong on that wrist,
landing, like you can't brace yourself, but it's an instinct as you're falling down to brace yourself. So if he puts that wrist down, it could be game over for him. He could be out the rest of the game. So
so
I would go Puka.
Oh, I was thinking we had another. Never mind. He has Tua. I was like, do we have to start Tua? No, I get it.
So, Calvo, Drew, thanks for checking in. If you're not subscribed, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Helps us a lot. We appreciate you checking in. Thursday, we'll be back with start sits as well, so we can help you out then. All right. So you smell oak.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This whiskey segment is giving me ADHD.
Right. Do you get anything else besides oak?
Butter. Is that what I smell? Hang on.
I think I can see where you're getting that because when I tasted it, I think you just described what I'm tasting. Like
really?
Warm butter. But
I get it's oak hits you at first, but you got to keep sniffing because there's something that follows, and I think it's buttery. It's butter.
Try it and tell me what you think.
Warm butter, melted butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need a couple tastes while I answer
I've got to do 3. Answer.
All right. Kabbalah's saying Cup or Hill tonight, PPR, down 1, going against Puka. Thanks and hit the like. We appreciate you hitting the like.
Thank
you. We keep alluding to Hill. He has this torn ligament in his wrist. I know he's playing through it, but I'm concerned that a wrong hit takes him out of the game. So if you have an option like Cup, which is a good option.
It is a good option.
I would start him.
And only because I do think that Tyreek Hill, it's risky.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't normally tell people, sit Hill.
Right. Agree.
But it's risky.
But
I think there's risk.
Yeah. If you were between like Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham Jr., who's making his first start for the Dolphins, then I would say keep Hill in. Yeah. Right. But or if it was even Hill and Demarcus Robinson, I think I would.
But
pick
a lot
Hill
of these questions, we're talking about Puka and Cup, which they're also studs.
Yeah.
So I would go with the safer stud, which is Cup.
Yep, I agree. All right.
Hopefully, we don't steer anybody wrong here,
right?
Because I do at the same time, I do have that weird, it's weird to say sit Hill, but yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. And you're welcome, Bala. Thanks for checking in.
Yes.
You're supposed to be tasting.
I was tasting. That. See, but I can't help it. We're being asked questions and I have opinions.
This has a really unique flavor. I really like the flavor.
It's really oaky. It reminds me of an
It's very
oaky wine, but no wine flavor.
Give you an oaky afterbirth.
But it's a first birth. Like it's not a first birth. It's not an afterbirth. It's a pre-birth.
What?
Because the oak hits right away. It's not an after. Like it doesn't finish with oak, so it's the oaky afterbirth.
Yeah, it's very oaky for sure.
That's what hits you first is that oak, but it's like a dry oak.
Yeah, there's something else there, a little sweet. I really liked it.
Apple.
I don't know if I get apple, but
hold on.
I really like the flavor though. I know it's very oaky. I get that, but I like it a lot. I think this is
not apple. There's a fruit there.
Yeah.
Not your like sweet fruits necessarily. Maybe kind of I don't know.
I don't know either.
But it's really interesting because the oak has like it's at first it feels a little dry in your mouth, but it immediately isn't with what follows because it's a very nice feel to it.
Yeah. It's not thin on the mouthfeel, but it's a little thinner than some of what we have been drinking recently. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have that. It's not like the creamy texture or whatever. It's not a bad mouthfeel. It's just a little thinner than some of them that we've had recently. It's hard to get anything besides just oak for the flavor.
No, there's a fruit there. I'm not always good at
baked apricots.
It's not apricot.
Baked pear.
Baked apple.
Baked apple. I don't know. I don't get
no
fruit.
Sugar.
No sugar. I don't get fruit out of it. There's a little sweetness, but it's not fruit for me. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe the warm sweet butter. I don't know.
No, I'm just not good at it. A currant? Is that a fruit? Is that one of those currant?
First of all, you keep saying a currant like
no. No. Doesn't your mom make scones with currants?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're currants.
The Irish ones, I believe. Yeah, maybe that's
what I'm tasting.
I can't begin to describe or guess what you're tasting.
Okay.
It's not what I'm tasting, but that doesn't mean it's not what you're tasting. So.
But overall, like, okay, so we're just trying to pin down the flavors in this, but it's interesting.
Yeah. No,
it's not like
I really like it.
It's not like other things we've tried before.
Yeah. And I think I think that oakiness is going to stand out. Yeah.
It would make if you did like you know how you have that smoked bourbon sugar. I feel like making old fashioned with that and this oakiness. This doesn't have a smoky or I don't really pick up. I know it's like all the chard, but I don't really pick up on that chard.
No, agreed.
I just feel like this would just make a good smoked old fashioned.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
If you just smoke it.
Yeah. I think this is definitely worth a try. Again, this is the 2XO American oak. They've got the French oak as well. We'll have to try sometime. But
oh, you did get it?
No.
Oh, I thought you said we've got it. I was like, wait, when did we get that?
No, calm down. They have the French oak as well, I said. But yeah, no, this is really good. I really like it. It's different. It's different, but a good different.
And we'll see on Thursday if you want to come back and see how we think it is in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how it stands out.
Yeah. Start sits, best bets, answering your questions in the chat Thursday and drinking an old fashioned. If you like old fashions, make one and drink it with us while we're doing the podcast. And if you don't, shout out to our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death. This is my second of today. I spent a lot of today being a lumberjack.